Good evening and welcome to this week's edition of Dateline SAU, where you can catch all the latest news and sports from St. Ambrose University. I'm Jennifer Arnold.
And I'm Sarah Clifton. The St. Ambrose University Board of Trustees has approved a 4.25% tuition increase effective this summer. It is approximately a $525 increase for a semester for average undergraduate taking 12 to 18 credits. Part-time students will pay $33 more per credit hour, and also room and board rates will increase by 3.5%. Students with one-price tuition plans and students in graduate programs should consult with their financial advisors about this situation.
Tuition isn't the only price increase affecting St. Ambrose students. On January 22nd, the price of a first-class stamp nationwide rose to 45 cents.
A penny a stamp, and most of the students have already got the forever stamps prior to coming here this semester. So the forever stamps are good always for the first ounce letter rate. And so no matter what they paid for it, it's always good.
Prack said that she hasn't had to return any mail to students for insufficient posters yet. She credits an email that she sent last week that informed students of the price change.
There is new construction on the northeast corner of campus at Lombard and Harrison Streets. It is a 200-bed dormitory called North Hall, which is set to house an academic community. Construction crews are hard at work taking advantage of the mild winter weather we've had so far to get this new facility completed.
North Hall has probably been in design for more than a few years. We originally, as an institution, proposed this to the city over a year ago, and through some neighborhood concerns and other situations with the city, held off on the project for a full year. Now it is under construction and actually on time and under bid or under cost for an August 1st, 2012 opening.
The floor plan will be similar to the preferred housing floor plans found currently in Hagen and in Franklin, Bechtel, and Roman halls.
Traditional rows of desks and chairs have been replaced by new coffee shop style seating in 3 different rooms in Ambrose Hall. The oldest building on campus now has 3 updated classrooms. The second floor rooms feature fresh paint, new carpet, and a variety of new seating arrangements designed with small group work in mind.
We tried not to change the capacity of the rooms, just really the furniture that's in them and the way things are oriented. We've gotten a lot of very positive feedback from faculty. Some tweaks that some of them have brought up, that, they'd like this to be done a little bit different, and we're addressing those issues. But for the most part, people have been very happy with the changes. Some of the classrooms, they said there wasn't usually much of an issue getting their classes scheduled there, and now they think there'll be an issue since they're so nice. So that was a good problem to have.
Poster said about $50,000 was spent on the project. He has already spoken to a few deans about future classroom renovations. The deans would like to pick 3 more classrooms for next year to continue the process of invigorating classrooms at SAU.
More renovations are coming to the SAU campus later this month as students gear up to change housing in February. Students living on the southern block of Brown and Gaines Streets will be moved to different housing as SAU plans to tear down the properties. Anyone interested in the future plans for these renovations are asked to attend a meeting on January 31st at 8 p.m. in the Rogalski Ballroom.
There have been some other changes to campus to start the new year at Dateline SAU's Anton Wilkins checks out the new additions to the Rogalski Center food court.
Well, the 2012 new year has finally rolled in, and it has been filled with improvements and new technology gadgets. I took a further look inside of St. Ambrose Rogalski Center and discovered its new additions for the new year in the food court. The food court added to their food choice opportunities.
I did 2 half pans.
They have focused on creating options to help their customers maintain good health habits. They have new and improved equipment, candy selections, and beverage selections. They also have added specialty of the day items. Another major improvement was the organization's decision to support the Go Green movement and install new lighting fixtures to help conserve energy. A new technology gadget they installed are security cameras. Another technology addition are the new flat screen monitors that display the menu items. All of these additions are a great way to bring in the new year. I'm Anton Wilkins, Dateline SAU.
The winter months in the Quad Cities have been warmer than expected. In addition, only a few inches of snow have fallen. As a result, the St. Ambrose University physical plant has seen savings in operations cost. from the use of less salt and heating.
Savings, yes, but it's not like I've got it sitting here waiting to be used. It's actually helping fund some things that are unforeseen when you first start into projects. This spring, we may not see the corrosive effects of the ice removal products on the yard.
The SAU physical plant isn't packing away its winter tools just yet. They are still prepared for a blizzard if one were to occur later this winter.
Wind, sleet, and snow weren't enough to deter participants in the 3rd annual Silent March. This year, the event attracted over 100 members of the SAU community. It's held to honor the memory of civil rights leaders who used the march as a vehicle for peaceful protest and left those in attendance with plenty to think about.
A lot of the issues today that people like us deal with are so much less important than what they were dealing with back then. You know, we're so quick to act rashly a lot of times. It's very neat to think that if you're able to round up enough people who believe in the same thing and demonstrate that in a peaceful way, it makes me think why the issues we have today aren't dealt with in that manner.
This year's route took people down Harrison Street to a marker erected denoting a significant location in Quad City civil rights history.
Every 2 years, a group of Ambrosians, including faculty, students, and alumni, take a trip to New York City for a few days to provide a wide variety of educational opportunities that the big city has to offer.
It's a learning trip. I mean, we tie it to learning and growth as individuals. A lot of what we do here at St. Ambrose with our students, there's a certain amount of learning that happens in the classroom, and then there's a whole other realm of learning that happens outside of the classroom. And so we look at this as one of those personal growth opportunities. And some of it is tied to classes. Many of the students in communication go to different studios, radio stations together.
Got to visit NBC. We have some connections with alumni that work in network television, and they give us some great access inside the Today Show. We also have alumni that work on Broadway shows, and we got to attend a lot of Broadway shows too. It's a great trip for that. It's a trip that allows students to have a lot of latitude and do what they'd like to do. If it's sightseeing, shopping, visiting museums, going to Broadway shows, they have opportunities to do that. We pack a lot in about 5 days.
Actually, we got to meet Fred Armisen too from Saturday Night Live. Got a picture with him, so got to see the control room up from that and just see how the whole operation works, which was pretty impressive.
The trip is sponsored by the Galvin Arts Center and is open to everyone.
The SAU Theater Department competed in the American College Theater Festival this month. Once again, the St. Ambrose Theater students did well in the acting and stage crew competitions.
We had phenomenal success with our actors and our technicians. Our tech team made it to the final round for the tech competition. They did not win, but they had a great showing in the finals.
Johnson says the students enjoyed their week at the festival and they plan to compete again next year.
Several St. Ambrose University classes are taking advantage of a special art show on display on campus. The Sensing Language Art Collection features works by Melissa J. Craig. Craig's works are being shown in the Kaddish Gallery in the Galvin Fine Arts Center through March 2nd.
I think it does connect well to what we're teaching here. I've seen this already in approaches I've received from other professors and just asking different people if they'd like to bring their class. This morning we had an English class come in. They're writing descriptive papers about the piece. Another English class called Memoir Writing is coming, and one of the pieces in the exhibit is called Memoir. Father Bud's environmental ethics class will most likely come, biology, obviously art department classes. So I think it's been very popular because people across the board tend to connect with it too, no matter if they're student, staff member.
The artist also made her own paper for the collection. Craig is a book artist from Chicago.
It was a busy week in the St. Ambrose sports world, with men's volleyball, bowling, and indoor track getting underway.
And the men's and women's basketball teams turn to the home stretch of their postseasons less than a month away.
Dateline SAU's Kyle Porter will be here with all of the highlights, including an exciting finish for the Fighting Bee basketball team that you won't want to miss.
It's coming right up after this short break. Stay tuned.
really couldn't have asked for anything more. I was, on the air 3 weeks into my college experience. Everyone around here really wants you to be successful, and it's just a great place that you can get involved in so many different things, meet great people, have a great experience, and hopefully when you finish those 4 years, you look back and have as positive a thought about it as I do. Everything just really had a big impact on who I became when I left St. Ambrose.
KALA Davenport, the public radio station from St. Ambrose University, is proud to offer insightful programs from Public Radio International. On Mondays, be sure to catch the Tavis Smiley Show, an expanded view of news and newsmakers, with commentary you won't get anywhere else, keeping you informed wherever you may be. Just part of the new lineup at KALA Davenport, public radio station from St. Ambrose University.
It's been a big week for both Ambrose basketball teams, facing tough conference matchups that will lead up to the end of the season. The Fighting Bee basketball team looked to build on its win against Waldorf this week, while they played 4 tough conference games in just 8 days. Viterbo University was host to the Fighting Bees for one dramatic game and a big milestone for a Fighting Bee player. St. Ambrose squeezed out a win in overtime, 70-69. Mike Kennedy scored 17 points to become the 3rd leading scorer in Fighting Bee history. He also surpassed the 2,000 scoring mark when he scored his first 6 points just 2 minutes into the game. Viterbo's desperation 3 at the buzzer by Jordan Laufenberg sent this one into OT, but SAU's Chris Donnelly blocked the attempted game winner by the V-Hawks at the end of overtime period to preserve the win. When Kennedy reached the very exclusive 2,000 point mark, he became just the 4th player in SAU men's basketball history to do so.
That I was looking forward to for a while. Only 3 other people have done it at Ambrose, so it's definitely a big accomplishment for me.
The Bees then took on Iowa Westland for a home game on January 21st. The Bees shot 51.7% from the field and had 4 players in double figures for a win. A 13-0 run put the game away early. Nicholas Frazier had 22, while Mike Kennedy and Chris Donnelly added 18. With that win, the Bees took sole possession of first place in the Midwest Collegiate Conference. They then had to defend their lead against the team they had just dethroned from first place, the Ashford Saints. The 22nd ranked Fighting Bees took out the Saints 58-56. Chris Donnelly scored 15 and hit a big 3-pointer with under 30 seconds remaining. Nicholas Frazier added 14, while Mike Kennedy had 12 points and 10 boards. That set the stage for another 1 versus 2 matchup in the conference as William Penn came to Lee Loman Arena, sitting just 1 game back of the league-leading Bees. We pick it up in the second half here. The Bees decide to push the ball up the court with Lorenzo Fiol, and he makes the dish to Mike Kennedy for 2 points. The Bees extend their lead to just 12. A few minutes later, William Penn's Taylor Stoutner hits one of his 6 threes on the night to pull the Statesmen within 2. Under 4 minutes to go now, it's Stoutner again burying the running 3-pointer to tie the game at 73. Then just a couple of minutes later, Alan Douglas hits this short jumper in the lane to give William Penn their first lead of the second half. The Bees got the ball for the final seconds with the score tied at 78, setting up this dramatic ending.
Three-point line gets it to Frazier. Frazier takes a dribble, kicks it out to Kennedy. Kennedy with 4, turns, fires, puts up the shot, and hits it! With 0.9 on the game clock. Inbounded to Walker, throws up the shot, no good, and that's the ball game. Kennedy hits the game winner.
Kennedy led the Bees with 20 points. Nicholas Frazier and Justin Blondell both added 17 as the Bees extend their lead in the MCC to 2 full games. The Queen Bee basketball team won their must-win game against Waldorf College to stay relevant in the MCC race and avoid a 2-5 conference start. 4 more key matchups awaited them this week. Let's start off in La Crosse, Wisconsin, where the team took on Viterbo University. The Queen Bee started slow once again as they could never quite get things going. Annie Smith led the way with 14 points and 11 rebounds. Molly Yergel contributed 18 and Samantha Saladino added 13. The Bees were only 3 of 17 from behind the arc. It It was time to return home for St. Ambrose, this time for a game against Iowa Wesleyan. The Queen Bees were able to come out and get this one right from the get-go. It was a combination of Annie Smith and Samantha Saladino that enabled the Bees to pull away from the Tigers. Smith recorded another double-double with 26 points and 18 rebounds. Saladino added 15 points, 10 rebounds, and 6 assists. The Queen Bees shot 54% from the field. For her 2 performances against Viterbo and Iowa Wesleyan, Annie Smith was named Conference Player of the Week. She recorded 2 double-doubles and averaged 20 points coming off the bench. The ladies kept on rolling just 2 days later against the Ashford Saints in Clinton. The Queen Bees hit 23 free throws to take the win 63-59, putting the Bees at 500 on the season in conference play. St. Ambrose did not score a field goal in the final 5 minutes and 26 seconds, but won it at the charity stripe. Shelly Charvat led all players with 18 points and 7 rebounds. Saladino contributed another double-double with 17 points and 12 boards. So the Queen Bees found themselves in the middle of the conference pack, tied with William Penn, and the 2 teams met up on Wednesday at Lee Lohman Arena. We'll start off in the second half. William Penn in command here as Vanessa Curis hits this three-pointer, giving the Statesmen a 12-point lead. The Bees battled back, though. On a fast break here, Michelle Charvat drains a 3 of her own to pull St. Ambrose within 5. The Queen Bees were still trailing late, with the Statesmen under a minute to play when Charvat hits another 3 to tie the game at 58. On the next possession, the Statesmen drove down the field and found a wide-open Sarah Martin to put William Penn up by just 2 with 6 seconds to go. The Queen Bees got one last shot at the basket, but Katie Jensen's jumper falls just short at the buzzer, and the Queen Bees lose a heartbreaker 60-58. St. Ambrose could manage only 28% shooting from the field as they dropped to 5-6 in the Midwest Collegiate Conference and 9-11 overall. Looking elsewhere, the indoor track and field season is well underway. The men's and women's team recently traveled to Cornell College for the Cornell Invite. The men's team took second place out of 5 teams with 124 points. Grandview won the event with 157 points. The women's team went out and won the event fairly easily out of 5 teams. The Queen Bees posted 201 points, with Grandview taking second at 112 points. The men's and women's bowling team traveled to South Bend, Indiana for the Blue and Gold Classic. The men took 6th place out of 56 teams. Sophomore Jim Olzak finished 19th individually, averaging 218 pins over the weekend. Brian Thompson and Kyle Anderson both contributed top 40 performances, Thompson coming in at 30th place and Anderson in 39th. The women's team took 22nd out of 42 teams. Kelly Granzow led the Bees, placing 45th, good for a 180 average. Taylor Garvey and Jen Barron added averages of 175 and 169 respectively. The St. Ambrose men's volleyball team started the season ranked number 1 in the nation. They were undefeated in their first 3 games of the season when they faced a tough test last week versus number 5 Missouri Baptist in St. Louis, Missouri. The Bees prevailed in 4 games. Dan Dow-Jodas led the Fighting Bee attack with 11 kills. Kyle Schwetz added 9, and David Sawada had 7 blocks in the big win. Following another win on the road at Hannibal LaGrange, the Bees are 5-0 on the young season. And that will do it for this week's edition of Inside the Locker Room. I'm Kyle Porter.
Thanks, Kyle. And that will do it for this week's edition of Dateline SAU.
Be sure to join us every Friday and Monday evening at 6:30 for the latest news and sports from St. Ambrose University.
With snow on the ground and winter in full swing, we decided to ask SAU students and faculty about their favorite outdoor winter activities.
We will leave you with their responses. Thanks for watching.
Good night.
My favorite winter activity is playing in the snow because winter's my favorite season and I love the snow.
My favorite outdoor winter activity is making snow angels.
My favorite winter activity would probably definitely the first time you go out and it's the first game of football in the snow. You get a bunch of guys to play, no rules, all fighting, just a good time playing football in the snow is definitely my favorite activity.
My favorite outdoor activity in the winter would have to be having a snowball fight with my friends just because it's crazy, you never know what can happen.
My favorite winter activity is skiing because my dad took me skiing I think for the first time when I was in 2nd grade, and I was hooked from then.
My favorite winter activity would be to build snow forts. It's a fun activity to do. You can get together with your friends, and I'm pretty good at it.
My favorite winter activity would probably be to go sledding or to have a snowball fight, just because after that you never know what's going to happen.
My favorite wintertime outdoor bad weather thing is just watching people slip and fall on the ice. It's fun to watch them from a distance, to watch them fall and wander around on the ground. It's mean, but it's very fun to watch.